Hold up.
We were muted. It's live fire with Dad.
Fire with Dad, baby. We're not muted anymore.
So we had a misfire there. I'll take credit for the misfire.
Oh, good job.
So I got to say, Dad, today you're rocking the MP shorts. You got the MP golf shirt. Is that the official one?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
And you got your matching blue hat. So looking good.
Ching, baby.
It's a first. Usually you got like the wrong color shirt on. You got some shorts with a coffee stain, and the hat. I'll give you that. You got your hat game. Your hat game's usually pretty good.
I got the best hats.
Okay, let's talk about colors. Let's talk about branding, because when I was a kid, I played for a baseball team called Plapp Insurance.
Right.
And I remember as a kid being the team with the ugliest freaking uniforms in all of Northern Kentucky. They were yellow and green. And later in life, you had told me that was a plan, that you went yellow and green because you knew people would go, well, who's Plapp Insurance? Oh, that's the green and yellow team.
And forever we were, I mean, say what, everybody else had the traditional red, the traditional blue, but us being yellow and green, there was nobody else in town had yellow and green. And so we stood out, and that was my whole reason for doing it. And it worked.
And speaking of standing out, I mean, the orange. And that,
the to me, thing.
I actually got to credit one of my first coaches I've had as a business coach, Billy Jean, out in California, because a lot of people ask me the story about how it happened. I don't know if you know this or not, but I had been doing a lot of video content, and we do what's called batching, where I would shoot video all day on a Monday, and we would edit 50 videos over the next month. And more times than not, I wore an orange shirt. And so I guess 3 Mondays in a row, 30, 40, 50 videos a pop. Next thing you know, a month later, you got 100 videos with orange shirts on. So I show up at Billy's event in California, and he had basically threatened us to wear his black shirt he had that said something like, I am a effing genius or something. And it was for his event. And so I wore his shirt, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? What do you mean? What are you wearing? I said, I'm wearing the shirt you threatened us to wear. He's like, oh, no, you only wear orange. I'm like, what are you talking about? Have you heard this?
Yep.
They haven't heard it, though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so,
have you folks heard this yet? Okay, check that.
And so I went back to my room. You know, he goes to me and he grabs his phone. And he goes, look, and he goes to my YouTube channel on his phone, and every video is me in an orange shirt. He's like, that's not intentional. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a complete accident. But I started looking back, and orange was everywhere. It was my golf stuff, my ski stuff. It was everywhere. And so at that point, he's like, you start wearing orange. Nobody else wears it. And I had never paid attention to that. And sure enough, I started wearing orange, and I went a step farther and went with orange shoes and orange shirt. And I got branded shorts, and we got the MP logo. And here we are today, orange van, orange car, orange all over the office.
Well, I think that's kind of humorous. And I don't know if it's because of you, but all of a sudden, all your TV commercials now got orange cars in them. And I thought, oh my God, Matt's created a whole trend. I mean, Chevrolet on their last commercial, they're showing the first cars in orange Chevrolet. And the same way with Honda. They got an orange Honda. All these companies now I'd never seen orange before until you started wearing your orange. I guess you've gone nation, baby.
I think you're just noticing it, because I think that's the thing. We see things. Like, I'd never noticed a blue Honda Civic till Cole got one.
Okay.
And now I see them every stoplight, it seems like. But I think it's something that people don't take into effect enough. I mean, locally in Northern Kentucky, there's a place called Arlene House. Do you know what color they have?
No.
Are you serious?
I have no clue.
Well, you don't live up here. I guess you live.
I don't live here. Matter of fact, I haven't seen anybody from Arlene House until yesterday at your.
Okay. Well, they wear pink. They wear pink and blue.
So I didn't know.
And they have pink vehicles everywhere. They have pink and blue outfits, golf shirts.
Okay.
But it stands out. And I remember when my early days of radio, I was having a conversation with the president of the Ohio Lottery, and this comes into noticing things. You always say, notice something when you walk into a business. Well, I was a sales rep for WGRR in Cincinnati, and I was on a cattle call where back in those days, the big agency out of Cleveland would say, hey, all 500 reps in the whole state of Ohio, you get to come to Cleveland. You get to walk in and shake the hand of the president of the Ohio Lottery, say hi, and you come in, give us your pitch, go on your way. So I was in line, and I walk in, and I see on his desk a picture of his son in his Eagle Scout uniform. And I said, oh, your son's an Eagle Scout? And he's like, yeah. Why do you ask? I said, well, I'm an Eagle Scout. Well, next thing I know, I'm in his office for like an hour. And they're pounding on the door, and he's like, get out of here. We'll come back. And people were pissed because nobody got to meet him. I was in there for an hour. But him and I, in that conversation, one-to-one, talked about some of the marketing. He said, Matt, one of the biggest things we did in the Ohio Lottery that really helped us was we went away from the traditional red, white, and blue and black. and we went with neon green, neon orange, neon pink. He said, because we would drive down roads and everybody's signs looked the same. Everything looked the same. And so when I go to business events, when I go to you get a sporting event, of course, everybody there, like Ryle High School, where our kids go to school, everybody's got orange on. Now I'm the only guy with orange shoes, but everybody's got orange shirts, got the team colors.
Well, also Cole's the only kid with orange shoes on the football field, too.
No, he's got white this year.
He's got white
orange last year. But you go places and everybody wears the same colors. I go to a B&I meeting yesterday. Went down there to say hi to the people meeting our lower level, and you and I were orange. Everybody else was white, blue, black, red. So I think it comes up to you've got to figure out what makes you stand out. And sometimes it's the color of your hair, the color of your shirt, the color of your shoes, the color of your car. But I can tell you that it's not a short term, because it's taken me the last 3 to 4 years to where now I get people text me a picture of a car and they're like, hey, did you buy another car? And I'm like, just because it's orange doesn't mean it's mine.
Well, I did 2 things when I was younger. One, I always wore wild sport coats. If you talk to all my old buddies, I had crazy wild sport coats, and everybody, I was known by that. I mean, everybody, oh, what? You're not wearing your wild sports coat tonight? Well, okay, I'm sorry. So from that point on, I always made sure I had my wild sports coat on. The other thing I always did was I always wore, if you remember, I had Payne Stewart clothes.
Yep,
I was the only guy when I played golf. I had knickers. Because Payne Stewart back in those days always wore he got paid by the NFL to wear whatever team they're playing close to their outfit. So I had outfits for the same thing. As if Payne Stewart was dressed in the Bears, I was in the Bears. If he was dressed in the colors for Packers, I had the Packers. And the reason why was when I played a lot of golf in those days, and I always wore knickers, and the guys loved it.
Yeah, I mean, you became identifiable. Like, who's the guy, the insurance guy here? Oh, Dwayne, the guy, the knickers guy, yeah. So I think being memorable is huge.
It's 99. The whole idea is to create the visibility. And not only do you create visibility by going to networking events and stuff like that, but it's the marketing things that you do that make you stand out. If you stand out in a room and you walk in, that same way I tell people when they're doing their 60 second in a B&I meeting or other thing, have a great memory hook. The better your memory hook, then you stand out in the crowd. You do things so that people make you memorable.
Okay, so next question, we'll end on this one, was, I don't know if you saw, I did a video yesterday. You might not, because I did it on LinkedIn and Instagram. I don't know if it's on Facebook. But I was in a local smoothie shop I go to all the time. I'm sitting there enjoying a smoothie after a hard workout. And as customers walk in, every time the customer walks in, the people at the smoothie bar go, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? And we all say it. I say it to people. You say it. And you think about that term, we don't actually care how you are. Like if somebody,
hey, are you? Yeah.
I mean, if somebody walked in here right now and I said, hey, how are you? And they said, I'm great. I'm not going to, I mean,
that's why I always say I'm fantastic, because that stops everybody when they say, how are you? Well, I'm fantastic. Stops them dead in their tracks.
So what I want to talk about though, is not saying, how are you? And as I was telling these guys yesterday, it was younger guys, and I say, I'm going to give you a tip. I said, as I'm sitting here hearing you say that, instead of saying, hey, how are you? When the person walks in, ask them, what upgrade are you getting to your smoothie today? Because you can add, what do they call them? I don't even know what they're called, like add-ons or something, mix-ins or something. But what extra toppings are you getting on your bowl? Ask them a question that engages them. Or aren't you glad to be in the air conditioning because it's freaking hot outside right now?
Get them talking. Get them talking to you.
Get them talking. So I put a post up on Instagram, LinkedIn. We have an email going out this week. And ironically, after I did that, I posted a video of one of our presentations in our staff group. And one of the employees, David, goes, first thing you said was, how are you? Now, ours is a little different context, but he's right. But ask something that, one, you actually give a shit about hearing, but two, that you actually can use to engage a conversation or to step a conversation forward. You did it at the boat and RV dealership. Great. People would walk in and you wouldn't say, hey, how are you? You'd say, what brings you in today? Are you getting parts, service? Or are you looking to buy something new and get rid of that boat?
One of the things I did all the time in boat shows, when we did boat shows, is if you remember, Dale Earnhardt at the time was the slogan with Goodrich, okay? And I would start singing the slogan. People would go nuts because I got them involved, okay? I get them involved and they're talking to me. I remember the one time.
And this is without Red Bull or anything.
Exactly.
Right?
One guy walked up one of my boats and says, are you a tire kicker? And the guy goes, no, I'm not. And they're buying a boat for me. Because the guy in the conversation, I know tire kicker.
So
Just do crazy things to get people. Heartbeat of America. That's what we said. That's what Dale Earnhardt did in the Good Wrench. Heartbeat of America. I would sing that. And guys would go, oh my God, oh my God. And the thing is to get people involved. And, I guess kind of humor. It's another story. Talking to an attorney this morning. First thing he said was, how are you? And I said, fantastic. He didn't know what to say.
should have said terrible.
Stopped him dead in his tracks. He goes, oh, yeah, I guess you're fantastic. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Just I go back on a long time ago, and we'll end it here. As I was at a sales training, and the guy said a couple words to eliminate from your vocabulary is that question, how are you? And like the next day, out of habit, I called this guy, and I'm like, how are you? And he's like, well, man,
lost my wife. Like,
no,
he said,
he said
my house blew up.
No, he said my wife's divorcing me. She found my phone. I was doing some online dating. My boss just informed me that I'm no longer marketing director, that they're shopping it out to another company, and that I'm
fired.
That my job's being dissolved in 90 days. Literally went on for 30 minutes about everything wrong, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, oh well, hey, want to buy some advertising?
One of the best stories of all time for me on that situation. I'm selling this guy a 45-foot yacht back in about 95, 96.
What's the delineation of a yacht? Like, is it 43, 40? What makes it a yacht?
You can stay all night in it.
Okay.
You can stay all night. You've got cruisers stay all night. Yachts usually got an aft cabin, okay, where you can actually have a bedroom and whole 9 yards.
So if I buy the smallest possible boat that I can stay at night, I can just call it a yacht.
Sure, if you want to.
But yacht.
Hello. But anyway,
Well,
so
the
the guy's
yacht.
buying a yacht. It's about $140,000 yacht. Was about 8 or 9 years old, and I had the whole field set up. And he was a vice president of some big company. And so we had a meeting at 1:00. He's going to bring me by a check for $140,000. Take his daily cruise on the yacht, test drive it, and everything like that, and go through the boat so we can pick all the things out. 1:30 doesn't show up. So I finally at 2:00. Finally, he calls me. He says, Dwayne, I'm really sorry. So what happened? He says, I met my boss at the airport, at Greater Cincinnati Airport. We were supposed to talk about some business meeting. He gets off the plane, walks up to me, and says, you're fired. Walks back on the plane. So I guess I didn't sell no yacht that day.
So
how are you? If you ask that guy, how are you?
Okay.
I know. I just got fired. Hello.
Okay. Okay, so this episode of Fire with Dad, you sang twice, you had like 3 different character voices, and you explained what a yacht was. So that's all we got. But you didn't try to eat chicken this time. Oh, I forgot to get you lunch.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
I was supposed to grab you lunch.
Yeah, you walk back in again. I looked down. I guess lunch was not part of the thing. So that means I don't got to do one more climb stair thing.
Yeah, so he's on a stair climbing. I've got Dad on an extra. It's so hot outside.
Five stair climbs a day.
5 stair climbs a day in the building because
there's 28 stairs.
Oh, you're counting them?
Well, yeah. Hell yeah.
So apparently I'm a terrible. I literally just realized I didn't get you lunch. I went to the hardware store.
Nice guy.
I was just get you lunch. I forgot. I'm sorry.
Nice guy.
Cool. Well, we're out.
Cha-ching, baby.
Next week.
Fire with Dad.
We got to get a special guest for next week.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't you work on a special guest?
All right.
Okay. See ya.